name is Ruckus. Thanks for joining. Please like, subscribe, and share. 10-8. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from, or if you're on the replay crew and you're watching there. I'm going to take a second here to get this lined up and say good morning to everybody. Jinx, how are you? James Powers, what's going on? What's good? Olivia, too. Kyra, hello, how are you? Rescue every one of the dogs. What's shaking? Hell if I know. And don't tell me if you find out. Lynn, GMB, how are you, dear? Haven't seen you for a while. Jim Cook, Ruckus, your skill would be put out a good showing with Brett and Alice from the prosecutors. I'm a fanboy of them. I'd probably be too nervous to interview them. They're awesome. I really like them. Night Shadow, how are you? Good morning. Just Deb is joining us. And we've got True Crime, Frank Meister. To all the mods, please, and any other creators that come in, please post their channel. I don't care who it is. Just throw a link up for them, please, and thank you. We've got Teresa. What's going on? I'm gonna try and rock you with this. I'm about done with it. There's so much bullshit, but I want to get this series done. So this is 5 of 5 of Delphi, the Abduction. We have Danielle. Yeah, I try and start on time, Danielle. Sometimes you can't always do that. Wax Shack, what's going on? What's happening? Let me see. 63 clocks. Hello, dear. Coach Kev in the house. If you guys haven't checked out Frank or Coach Kev, I know most of you probably already have, but they're great guys and they have great channels. They shoot from the hip. I like that. Everybody knows that. Jill Moser, hello. How are you? Sleuth, what's up, brother? That was a great podcast that Fig did yesterday. I love those guys. Really good information there. And they took the time to answer a lot of questions, which is excellent. You and I both know how hard that is to do, Sleuth. So Frank and Kev, we all know. Search for you. Good morning. Raggedy Susan. Good morning. Welcome aboard. If you're just listening, you're missing out. All this. You don't get the aesthetic value, but at least you get to hear my pleasant, soothing voice. Lee and Susan Trainer, good morning to you. Cindy Lynn, voice of reason with epic one-liners. Well, when you're around long enough and you're from an Irish family, you learn some one-liners. You get a few. They get old, though. My wife's heard them all a million times. Hey, Freckle Joy, how are you? Mrs. Stang got a rock and roll husband. His band's awesome. I got to check them out one night when she put them on Facebook Live. If you're local to where they are, you need to go catch that band. Miranda Lee, it's too early for this. Well, I've moved my studio back out to the sun porch. And so I have to do it at the right time, either late at night or about this time of day, so there's not too much light in here. Charlotte, how are you? It is good to see everybody. It's early in the morning. That's interesting. I love that name. Good morning. Beth Gonzalez, good morning to you. And to anybody that complains and says that I spend too much time and I get off topic saying hello to everybody, I don't give a shit anymore. I do what I want. You see right up here. See that? Rule number 1, I do what I want. Rule number 2, see rule number 1. If these folks are going to take the time to tune in and watch me, then I'm going to take the time to say hello to them. Cease through, hello, good morning to you. And I'm going to get to as many questions or comments as I can. There's not a whole bunch of people in here. There's 88, so unless that picks up drastically, I should be able to get to most everything if you guys have any questions. Alley Cat, good morning. Good morning to you. Yeah, this is like Romper Room. Tell me today. Did all my friends have fun at play? I used to lose my damn mind whenever she said my name. Kai, good morning. How are you, dear? True Crime with Marv. Good morning to you. 4 pits, yeah. I don't know how special it is, but it's early bird. It's like I said, I'm at the mercy of the sun here, out here, for the next couple weeks, anyways. And it's cool enough to be out here, so I'm doing well, Marv. I'm doing well. This case is driving me crazy. There's Shane. What's going on, brother? Shane and I must subscribe to the same channels because during the same day, within a 1 hour period, I see him in the same chats that I am. It's like we're stalking each other. Coach Kev says, great live with Frank last night. Fig also. A lot of great content last night, my friends. Yes, absolutely. Kev, you're doing a stellar job too, dude. I'm watching you get better and better and better right in front of my eyes, dude. I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job. And yes, Cindy, that was a great show last night. Frank got me fired up. We even had a safe word. I said, listen, if I get carried away, just say penguin. And I'll shut down. Route 661. What's up? What's good? Jennifer, working and lurking. Gotta love that. All right. Teresa K. Good morning. Phil Bond. Coach Kev is over the top. Oh, but so is Sleuth. Hell, you all are good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody that knows me, everybody that's in here, I don't see anybody really new. I'm pro law enforcement. I'm abrasive at best, but I'm more of a face-to-face guy. Hey, Star Girl. I like to see body language, nonverbal communication. I like to get out there and talk to people. That's why I go on the road with Steve. And I'll be doing that on my own here pretty soon. No, thank you, Sleuth. I watch your channel all the time, dude. You're the bomb.com. I like your style, man. Bobby, good morning. That's a nice picture. Nice view. Get a lot of those in Florida, in this area. Ivy, good morning. Yes, happy Friday. Yes, I consider that respect, Jill. If you're going to take the time to come on here and watch my stupid ass, I can at least say hi to people. Connie Hill, how are you? And I always put the tab on where it goes to set times and stuff like that. So if you don't like seeing all this, just fast forward. If it's not worth it to you to watch, then don't watch it. That's all I can say. Okay. Looks like I pretty much got to everybody. I'll try and keep up with it and see if anybody else comes in. All right, I'm going to give this a shot. Bryfwani Martin, welcome aboard. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time. A one-way street. Good morning. How are you? She Warrior 64. That's the year I was born. I'm old. And if you don't believe me, I'll cut one of my legs off and you guys can count the rings. But I'm old. No, I'm not hungover. Dude, that's the thing. When you get my age, you don't get hungover anymore. It's amazing. Where was this shit when I was 17, 18? Where I could drink whatever I wanted and not have a hangover. But I'm fine. And thanks for putting up with me, Frank. When he asked me to come on with him, I let him know up front that I was hanging out by the pool watching football, had some friends over, and my wife had her sister here, so that you could hear some talking in the background. I apologize for that. Bry is good. Thanks for giving it a go. All right, Bry. You are now Bry. WL22. What's shaking? Yeah, I'm the class of '82, the Brew Crew of '82. Where were you in '82? All of that. All right, so let's get on to this. The very first one I did in this series was just an overview. So this is just going to be a follow up to that. Good morning, Nana. Hey, AJ. I put out one about the Kleins, about the charges and stuff like that. But there's a very, very good reason. I have learned so much more about this case um, since I put out the first of this series. Solar Chef Steph, what's going on? But I've learned so much more about this case, and I've got to meet some people. I actually got an opportunity. Good morning, Bossy. $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the work you do. Well, thank you for following along, and thanks for putting up with me. There's plenty of places you can go to, and you come here. I tell everybody, all my subscribers, go to every channel, even people that you don't agree with. You learn a lot, not just from the creator. Chat. If you follow chat, you learn a lot. It's amazing what you can learn with this stuff, and what side of the fence people are on and stuff like that. But the recent developments in this case, I had an opportunity. I've been talking with Mark Robert for a while. I don't know Robert Fortson. I don't know Mitch Westerman or Westman, whatever his name is. I don't know Baldwin or Rossi. But in this particular case, I'm just going to share with you guys what I know about the whole thing that just came through on that hearing on the 19th. Now, prior to that hearing, the judge put out that she didn't want anybody filing anything prior to that hearing. She was pissed. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. She was pissed off. So what had happened was when all this stuff came out, the leaks, the crime scene photos and the such, they obviously brought that to the defense's attention, which they were already aware of because they're the ones that orchestrated this stuff. But they got to, yeah, I don't smoke pot, Kev. Pure air does me just fine. Oh, Steve's here. Good morning, Steve. Ruckus is old enough to still be a carrier of the Black Plague. Miss Steve, I am living proof. Oh, you guys sick? Oh, I'm so... Give me a minute to wipe the smirk off my face. I'm sorry to hear that. I would be a horrible newscaster. This is ghastly. Give me a second. Let me wipe the smile off my face. But what had happened when they caught wind, Baldwin called bullshit, right? Right away. So the only person out of all of those people that cooperated was Mark Robert. He cooperated. You know why? Because he's smart, right? Westman lawyered up. Baldwin lawyered up. There's another person involved that I'm not at liberty to say who it is. I don't know why, but I won't disclose that person. Wouldn't cooperate and lawyered up. And even Robert Fortson refused to cooperate and lawyered up. So Mark was smart. He got with Murder Sheets, and they played the go-between for him, and they helped him out. So when Baldwin called bullshit, right, they gave him some of the information that they had received from the one person that was smart enough to cooperate, okay? And they didn't ask him. They told him, we need everything. He did not have a choice. He's wise. I would have done the same thing. I would sell any one of you folks out if it came down to that. But he was smart by doing that. So they showed Baldwin a few of these communications, right? So that's why he had his attorney draft this thing up saying that, no, this was an isolated incident. There was these three people involved. I got snookered, duped, all that, deflect, point, not me, him, blame everybody but himself, when ultimately it's Baldwin's fault, okay? And he orchestrated this whole damn thing. Well, he has this attorney. He hires Hennessy, who's this big shot attorney from Indiana. And, he files this motion, affidavit, whatever you want to call it, the day of the hearing, right? Now, so both sides are playing games here, and it's all part of posturing, and it's like ping pong. Nick only gave Baldwin enough information to show him that, yeah, that leak came out of your office. That's all he showed him. And so Baldwin read it and had this attorney read it and said, hey, let's try this. No, we're sorry that it happened, but we had nothing to do with it. Well, then when they get into the judge's chambers, which happens all the time before a hearing, they discuss what's going to go on and all that. They drop the rest of the correspondence on Baldwin. They let Baldwin see everything they have. They had all their witnesses ready to testify. They took this very seriously. Where Baldwin thought he was just going to have this hotshot attorney put in this little memo or whatever you want to call it, that filing, and that was it. It's going to be, okay, listen, yeah, maybe I didn't take good enough care of that information, and I was betrayed by somebody I thought that I trusted. And oh, are you getting thoughts and remedies, Steve? I feel horrible. I do. I feel horrible. Maybe you caught it while I was sleeping. in in the van. And trust me, if I fell asleep with that man driving, I was tired. I was tired if I fell asleep while he was driving. But anyways, and again, this seems to like a distraction to some people, and I don't care. I'm going to do things the way I want to do it. So they drop all of that information on Baldwin in the judge's chambers, saying, look, we've got screenshots of you communicating with Westman, and we have screenshots of Westman communicating with Fortson, and we have screenshots of Fortson communicating with Robert. We have all of this. Dude, this is not an isolated incident. This is going on for months. It was orchestrated. You instructed anybody that released this information to stress that they think Richard Allen is guilty to try and keep your boy Westerman out of the limelight. Well, how'd that work for you? That didn't work out at all. So that's when Baldwin said, yeah, well, I quit. And the judge gave him a break. People don't understand that. I wish that she hadn't. I wish that she just went on with that hearing. But this, yeah, Steve's driving has been brought into question. Yeah, I age. My beard was brown when I first met Steve, and then I went for a ride with him, and now look, if I had hair in my head, it would be gray. But I wish, because this was nationally televised, this is a huge case. If she wanted to nail them up, she would have said, no, we're going through with this hearing. Let's hear what you got to say, and we're going to respond to it. The prosecution is, because she's just a referee. She's impartial. Her job is to look out for the defendant, make sure that he gets due process. And she's doing a great job of that. Now, all these people that are saying, oh, she's crooked and all this, we didn't hear about any of this. Nobody said shit about Judge Gall until now. And still all of this. All these defense ass kissers, people that think Richard Allen is innocent and all that. And that's their opinion. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. But, they just switch out. For almost 6 years, nobody knew who Richard Allen was. So all these people that have opinions now acting like they know everything, you didn't know shit. I came in right before he got arrested, so we're on an even playing field in my eyes. But I was able to sit down, and let me read this here. Nick went in crying about evidence being leaked. You are correct. There never should have been such a gag order to keep evidence sealed. Well, sometimes they have to, Fort Pitts. They have to. The prosecution is smart. They're not going to try this case in the public. Even though YouTube is a very, very small percentage of people that are following this case, the defense saw a way to use YouTube to their advantage. And the quicker they can get rid of these two jokers, the better off Richard Allen's going to be. Judge Gall is flat out biased. My eyes are wide open. Now, why do you say that, Trendy? And you may be right. You may be right. I don't think so. It's no secret that I'm pro law enforcement, and they've done their job. And there's just a few things that, that really don't matter. Anything I say, anything anybody in this chat says, other creators says, does not change the facts of the case. Period. Thank you, Frank, for putting that in there. I appreciate it. Does not change the facts of the case. It's going to come out in trial. Nick is smart. He wants to present the evidence in trial and use cross-examination to defend his opinion. Okay, you're pro Ali. That's good. I mean, if you weren't, that's fine too. I don't mind that at all. I just want to know why you think she's biased. That's my point. I haven't seen anything that says that she's biased. If anything, she was being kind to them by not putting them on national televised event where they're going to get their ass ripped up. All right, let me see. Why wouldn't postmortem pics of unclothed, and underage murder victims be protected from floating around the web? It should be. It should be. And they're not. I've said it before that it's not. I am definitely desensitized. There's no doubt about it. But they're not these gory CSAM looking pictures. Rossi runs the risk of perjury with the things he stated as fact and his verified notice of continuing representation. Of course he did. Here's my opinion, right? Rossi and Baldwin, somehow, they must be fanboys of Cochran and F. Lee Bailey and all those guys from the OJ case. They think that they can come in there and just say what they want and people are going to believe it. When in all actuality, they have Jose Bias syndrome. They're basically nobodies. Nobody knows who they were worldwide, not in this country. A very small group of people knew who they were prior to them being appointed to this case. So they're talking about themselves. Everything that Rossi filed yesterday. Hey, Mike, how are you? They don't make me sick. I don't understand it, but people are, they can have their own opinion. That's what makes this country great. That's what makes this country great. But, they wanted to get famous, like Jose Bias, come out of nowhere. And now he's a household name, and that guy came out spewing nothing but bullshit in his opening statement. So everybody says, oh, law enforcement lies and they can lie and all that, that's not true. They can bend the truth. They use the media as a tool to deflect things. Why did Judge Gull file and backdate a new filing? She did not. Trendy Views. The judge wrote that filing, sent it to the clerk, and said, hey, these two attorneys both said they're withdrawing. So as soon as they turn in their paperwork, go ahead and file this. If you look down the bottom of it, it's dated October 19th. So it's not backdating. And now if you're asking me, if you're asking the question, did she do that? No. If you're making a statement and then putting a question mark at the end of it, that's not correct. It's easy for you to see. Trendy Views. You can go back and look it up. It was dated the 19th. She had him hold it because the attorneys had told her that they were going to withdraw. So, preserved evidence stand on its own merit, regardless of who enters and presents it to a judge and jury. Absolutely. And Steve knows what he's talking about. He's been through this a million times. And sitting down talking with Mark, okay, watching his body language, his nonverbal communication, he's like all of us. He's just a regular guy. He's not involved with this case. He made friends with somebody who got some information, who wanted that put out because people were not believing him on Reddit and Facebook. That's why he wanted that F tree put out. He could have put it out himself, but he kind of coerced Mark into doing it. And I even asked Mark, dude, why? If he told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it? Why did you do it? And let him dictate how it was put out. And he really didn't have an answer, and I can understand that. I'm a human being as well. I understand how things work. But Mark is a good guy. People need to stop thinking that he's more involved than he was. He cooperated completely, turned over everything, did the right thing. Everybody wants transparency, right? I hear that all over the place. Why was that hearing in the judge's chambers not put out? Blah, blah, blah. People want transparency. Well, Mark provided transparency. He did exactly what you all wanted him to do. He was transparent with the whole thing, but yet people are still bashing him. Okay, Trendy, I understand. If you go back and look at it, if you go watch Figs live from last night, um, Brett and Alice go over that, and they show it. He actually puts it up on the screen. You can see when it was dated, and sometimes they just send them to the clerk and say, "Don't file this until they file their paperwork." So she took these attorneys at their word that they were going to recuse themselves from the case. They were going to leave the case, and they're still going to. They need to just, as far as I'm concerned, everything that Rossi put out yesterday is going to get struck. They're just going to get rid of it. Um, and as far as legal representation goes, they can't really do anything right now. The prosecution, or there really isn't a defense, because they're gone. They're out. Whether it's today, tomorrow, Monday, you're going to see it goes one way. They can say, "I want to quit," and the judge can say, "No, no, you can't quit," and they don't have a choice. They have to stay in the case. Or she can say, "Okay, yes, you can quit." You know. My wife said, "Is Ruckus a cop?" Laughing out loud. Fill her in, Josh. Tell her I'm 90% asshole, 10% Ellie. Yeah, crazies are all over him, and it really affected him. All this shit with let me read this real quick from Turbo. Robert Fortson made some posts in his own name, not just as Lordless Warrior. Fortson attempted to post the F-pic himself the morning of October 1st, but he was denied. Correct. He was denied by someone that has some class and knows what's going on and is considering the family in this. The people that are affected the most by all this is Richard Allen and the victims' families. Period. The period. But if you had all this information, and there's a lot of people without actually saying it, are basically saying, "Well, I wish I got all that information." Everybody wants transparency. Everybody wants to know what's going on. Everybody wants to be in the inner circle and all that. And sometimes it's just not worth it. Not worth it. You just got to do your own thing. Rebel Bell 62. I've always believed it was the defense that released it all. I believe and still do that RA is the guy. I do as well. And that all come out in court. They have more evidence. I'm not at liberty to tell everything that I know, and it doesn't matter anyways. The only thing it would do is affect the case. All of this shit being released affects the case in one way, besides hurting people that are involved with this, family and all that. If there's going to be more arrests in this case, which I believe there is, that affects that. There's going to be crazies. They're going to call up and they're going to confess because they have seen those photos, and they're going to describe what was there. It doesn't. A good guy wouldn't have needed to cooperate. Okay, Freckled, and that's fine. That's your opinion. But did you meet him? Did you talk to him? Did you watch his body language? Did you get his tone of voice? Nonverbal communication? Because I did. And I'm trained in that stuff. So he's being truthful. He's being honest. He didn't know what to do. That's why he reached out to the murder sheets. But out of all those people, let me ask you this, Freckled. Out of all those people involved, Baldwin, Westman, Fortson, Robert, and this other fifth person that I can't disclose, he cooperated. They all refused to cooperate and lawyered up. And we all know what Robert Fortson's decision was. And all over what? Over ego, because somebody didn't believe that he had information and he wanted to prove that he had it. You know? I don't know how long, Bri. I don't know how long he had the pictures for. I did not ask. He had a lot more than the pictures, though, because it wasn't only Fortson. Woodhouse had befriended him. Oh, she hears me weekly. Okay, well, thanks. Hey, thank you, Mrs. Four Pits. And I envy you, Four Pits. You do what you want, literally. You go where you want. All right, Marv, don't let this affect your work day. Yes, Silky's the bomb. You guys need to check her out. But he had Woodhouse sending him information. Okay. Now, there's a little backstory to that as well. Woodhouse was trying to reach out to somebody to get this information out. He wanted to get it out. He has his own channel. I don't know why he just didn't do it. But because according to him, he's not afraid of anything and he don't give a shit about Nick. And he made some pretty nasty comments about Nick. And yeah, taking it out of Carroll County probably wouldn't hurt. And I honestly, guys, and I mean this, you want to move him? Move him. Move Richard Allen. I don't care. That needs to stop being an issue. He's going to go from where he's at straight into another 8x6 cement block cell with nothing in it. He's a high risk detainee. He's not convicted. Prolongs, yeah. This isn't going to prolong anything. They're still set as of right now. The 31st hearing is still going to take place, and they're going to assign new counsel. Now, whether she decides, to keep Rossi on or not, and then assign somebody else with him, remains to be seen. She can do that. I doubt she will, though, because like Brett and Alice said last night on Figs Live, everything he filed yesterday, everything, it says filed for Richard Allen, but that's the only mention of him. They're concerned about themselves. They got Jose Bias syndrome, Cellulite Podcast. Y'all need to check him out too. If somebody could post his link. He is a trip. He is funny as hell. And it took LA a minute to figure out what cellulite. He didn't know it meant cellulite. But that's how LA rolls. I don't know if he's playing stupid, but if he is playing stupid, stupid's winning. I guarantee you that stupid's winning. But LA is my buddy. I actually do a show with him on Tuesday nights. We didn't get one this Tuesday because I went out to Orlando to meet with Mark. But every Tuesday it's called The Thin Black Line. If you guys could post that link for me, would be nice as well. The judge should not be allowed to steer what the defense presents. It's called bias. She's not steering anything for Pitts. What she's doing is saying you're being unethical. You're filing things that are not even court worthy the way you're writing them. They're not professional at all. And you're releasing things. They went around the gag order. We all know that. Nobody's stupid. Nobody's stupid. They went around that gag order and released that 136-page document that names people, names suspects, right? And they basically said, yeah, we did our own investigation. Even some guy from Australia knows what the case is with this. So they did an investigation, so they need to turn that discovery over to the prosecution as well. It goes both ways. Discovery just isn't from prosecution and defense. If the defense finds something, they need to send it to the prosecution as well. That changes the whole spirit of the case, Freckle Joy, there's absolutely nothing honorable or good in any of this. Not the lawyers, not the leakers, not the YouTubers. The entire thing is all for ego. I don't care how sorry anyone is. 100%. I agree with you 100%. I mean, this is ego for me. Who the hell am I to put my face on YouTube and come up here and run my mouth and say whatever I want and give my opinion? I must have a pretty big goddamn ego, right? 63 clocks. People seem to forget. Oop, I gotta change that timing. Seem to forget he told his wife he did it. He wasn't confessing to the police in an interview room. It was to his wife 5 times. Well, and here's the thing. His wife is on the witness list, and she does not have to testify against her husband. She's not compelled to, but she can. But all they want to do is get her on the stand and say, hey, was this you that received this phone call from Richard, from the prison? And yes. Did you hear the recording saying that it was being recorded? Yes. So that is you speaking with Richard Allen, your husband. Yes. Thank you. Because the defense could come up and say, well, that wasn't even her. That was her daughter. So they have to verify all that stuff. It's stupid. It's childish. But like Becky Patty said recently, you want to talk about rights? What about Abby and Libby's rights? Amen. Amen. I feel really bad for the families because of all of this. You know, when I saw the pictures, like I said, I'm desensitized. I looked at them in a forensic point of view, and that's what I was discussing on my last live, was showing what I was able to see in very short order. So and that just shows you what the intent was. There was intent for that leak. It was to sensationalize it and bring attention away from their client, because otherwise they would have sent them to me, to True Crime Web, to Police Off the Cuff, to Cop Facts, to prior law enforcement that actually knows what the hell they're looking at. No, they didn't. They send it to people for shock value. Pure and simple. Pure and simple. And it was devious. The other person that's involved that I can't mention, and at some point I'll probably get to the point where I can mention this other person, is the one that mass emailed all this stuff out. And Fortson gave all that information to other people as well. And so did Westman. So I missed that. Sorry, Four Pits. I'm biased. I can't stand Nick or Leggett or Gull. I admit it. That's fine, dude. I'm down with you. I'm down with you. See, your opinion matters to me. But your opinion needs to matter to me as much as my opinion matters to you. So we're just having a discussion, you know? Frank Meister, I agree. Becky made a post. I cried. It was so sad. Yeah, can you even imagine what these folks are going through? You know? Yeah, Shane, that should be a long one. That should be that should be a long one. But the quicker she can get these two knuckleheads off the case and get some real attorneys in there, the better off Richard Allen is going to be. Well, and Richard Allen's been sitting in custody for over a year. Now, let's talk about with or without representation for a second. When he first got arrested, he went to his arraignment and he said, "Hey, no, I don't need an attorney appointed. I can afford one." Well, then, a couple of weeks goes by and he sends a note saying, "No, I fucked up there. I can't afford an attorney." Well, for that whole time, he had no representation. I don't hear anybody jumping up and down about that. Now everybody's talking about his Sixth Amendment right. Right out the chute, he threw his Sixth Amendment right out the window, saying, "No, I'll get my own attorney. That's my right. I can pick who I want." Well, then he decided, well, then he can't. Yeah, it is, Danielle, straight from the Twilight Zone. And that's why, to me, this is my opinion only. Dream Suburb. The judge is such a sweet person, honest, just as the whole prosecution team. They are so nice people. Yeah, and there's people that disagree with that, and that's okay. But I tend to lean towards they're professional. They're doing the right thing. People call him Slick Rick. Now they're calling Judge Gull names and all that stuff. So that, you got to look past that. You got to get to the meat and potatoes and get past people's opinions. Yeah, I am an egotistical maniac. Yeah. And Irish for that is asshole. That's what that is. But that's okay. But he had no representation to start this case off either. So didn't hear anybody talking about that. Now they're talking about his Sixth Amendment rights being violated. The judge is looking out for, Penguin, am I going too far, Frank? Safe word. Got to have a safe word around me. Because I say what I want, I do what I want, and that's the end of that. But if you take everything that's happened in this case, right, and you put that on any other case, people's opinions may change. Now, law enforcement is pretty positive that they got the right guy. Now, look at his charges. He got charged with not only murder. Would it have changed if he encountered the girls at the end of the bridge and murdered them there? Would that change the charge? Why'd they throw kidnapping on there? They're making it harder on themselves. They're not making it easier. Some people are misunderstanding that and saying, well, all they have to do is prove that he kidnapped them, and that's why they were murdered. No, that's not true. If you look at that law, it says, murder, to kill another individual, and then another human being. But then the aggravating factor of 2, which we now know is kidnapping, there's a whole litany of charges they could have put on there: burglary, arson, you name it. But they put that on there. But that too, if you look at it, the murder charge, it says murder, to kill another human being. And then two, the aggravating factor is to kill another human being while committing the felony of kidnapping. So it's still in there that that he killed. They're making it harder on themselves. They're not making it easier. Hey, Velos. Yeah, Cop Facts is good. He doesn't put many videos out, so when he does, it means something. I've never read his book. He plugs it a lot. I've never read it. I should read it. Miss Haunted Paula, how are you? Haven't seen or heard nothing yet. More bubbling up to the surface. Yeah, there's going to be plenty going on. Plenty going on. I don't understand why people are protecting this other person who leaked. I don't either, Miranda, but I was asked specifically not to mention it, so I will not. And it's not really important, that person's name, because they refuse to cooperate. They lawyered up. They'll get their just dues in court. I'm with you, Fort Pitbulls. Hey, Jen Cruz. I remember lawyers saying he had to start at the beginning, as didn't know the case. I think they ran with the theory of ritual. Yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying that the branches used at the crime scene are of ritualistic or any kind of religious artifacts. I can't say that, but they definitely don't look random. Put it that way. And another YouTuber has put out an AI picture of the crime scene photos. And thank you, Fort Pitts. And very thinly veiled attempt at being coy. They just wanted to release them, and they did. Now, this person just so happens is a family basher. They think their family did it. So I don't put much weight on anything they do. But putting that photo out there was a bunch of bullshit. Bunch of bullshit. They just use AR. They didn't sketch a goddamn thing. Those are the actual photos. And they put those out. Yeah, Dream Suburb. He's he's being confined. Okay, an 8x6 cement block cell with a metal bed and a mattress and a stainless steel sink and toilet is being confined. I don't care if it's in a prison. I don't care if it's in a jail. That's being confined. He's being held against his will because he's been charged with some serious offenses. And until we see all the evidence or hear all the evidence, I'm siding with the prosecution. They're pretty confident he did it. And I know everybody's upset. They don't like the prosecution. They're being sneaky, all that. No, they're doing the right thing. They're not going to try this in the public eye. They're going to try this in court, and they're going to cross-examine. All these eyewitnesses, if you guys have never been to court or been to a hearing or been to a trial, eyewitnesses, unless they're professionals, and I know I'm going to take some heat from this, but unless they're law enforcement, other attorneys, the such like that are familiar with that kind of environment, eyewitnesses usually get torn up on cross-examination. They attack their character. They'll try and slip them up. They'll try and trick them. Anything that differentiates from what they said in the beginning, they'll try and shut that down. Chopper Harris, how are you? And that 136-page document that the defense put out was not professionally written, okay? It was not meant for the judge. It was meant for public consumption. They're not stupid. They accomplished what they wanted to, but now they just got to pay the price for it. Knuckleheads, If Richard Allen wants to keep Rossi, she has to consider that. That's his Sixth Amendment right. So she has to consider that. But since Rossi told her that he was going to file paperwork to remove himself from the case, well, then that means a lot. If he just sat there and kept his mouth shut like attorneys tell everybody to do, he wouldn't be in this position. And then he puts, all he did was brag about himself pretty much in everything that he filed, Yeah. Get to the chopper. I mean, I say chopper too, but I don't have the same kind of Austrian accent that Ani has, Schwarzenegger. Does anyone really know why the first judge recused himself? He said because of bloodlust from the public for information. And right now, it's appearing that he made the right move, isn't it? I don't think he was afraid. He just didn't want to have to deal with all this bullshit at all. First judge claimed he was scared YouTubers were after his family. That may be true. Okay, got a super sticker from Rescue All the Dogs. Thank you very much. $4.99. You'rethebomb.com. Every little bit helps, and it shows me that you appreciate what I'm doing, and that means a lot. It really does. It means a lot. Kay McBee, I'm sure the defense attorneys are as mortified as the rest of us over brutal murders of Abby and Libby, I think is what you meant. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody should be mortified by that. Everyone. The courts cannot allow sideshows to overshadow an accused person's rights to a fair trial, even if the sideshow is the defense attorneys. 100%. 100%. Steve, we've talked extensively about all this stuff, and we have gallows humor. Some of this shit to Steve and I is downright comical. It's like I can't believe they're trying this or saying this or doing this. So this case is going to be stretched out now. If there's anything else, everybody knows my opinion. I believe Richard Allen is guilty. I believe there's at least one other person involved. Steve and I went to that crime scene at night. It is dark. It was overcast, and there was no moon or anything that night. So anybody that thinks the girls were taken somewhere else and then brought back at night, I can't see it. I can't see that happening. And that bullet was found on the ground. I got that verified. That was found on the ground. There's pictures of crime scene technicians with the ruler out, picking it up, putting it in the evidence bag, sealing it. It's all documented, and it'll come out in trial. The prosecution doesn't have to release that information. They don't give two shits what anybody's opinion is. They don't give two shits about what I say, what you people say. They're trying to give this guy the best trial that they can. They believe he's guilty, but they're going to give him every opportunity to prove that he is not. The judge did nothing wrong. The defense team put everything out there, not the judge. She didn't put anything out there. She seems very professional. Agreed. Baldwin, in his memo that he had the attorney Hennessy put out, basically says, yes, okay, yeah, but listen, I got snookered. I got hornswoggled when he didn't, because they had receipts. They had conversations where he was definitely in the know. So he was kind of screwed. And now what happens, his former partner just throws him under the bus, basically saying that even though I am co-counsel and that is also my client, I had no idea what he was doing. It wasn't me. It was him. It was him right there, that guy. That's what he basically said yesterday. He's just trying to save his practice, I guess. I don't know. But that said, yeah, putting out the blood spatter photo versus the real F tree photo was pretty trashy also. And law enforcement removed that F tree. For those of you that don't know that, I recently found that out myself. They took the F tree. Just like Mr. Steve, when he did his controlled test in the environment where he lives, and he very good video. If you go watch that, he reenacted how that F tree could have happened, how that blood could have got there into that pattern. Well, then he cut that down, and it's sitting on his desk behind him when he does his live shows. You can see it. Well, law enforcement did the same thing. And there was no antlers, correct, above Abby's head. No antlers. The person that put out that AI video added fucking antlers. Added them. So what kind of intent is that there? What kind of bullshit is that there? Where was Shane Evans on that day? From what I understand, he was in a meeting. They have the minutes from that meeting, and they have the roll call, and he was there. So there's other people to consider. There's more evidence as well. Aside from that 43-second, and we don't even know how long that is. That's what Ellie decided to put out as the time. 43 seconds of video and audio. Let me read this real quick from Cindy. Coach Kev staged, tried to make it look like something else, or didn't have time to finish. Maybe. We won't know that unless whoever did this, and I think Richard Allen did it, tells us. Now, evidence can show so much. I mean, I can be inside the house all day with all the shades down, and it can rain without me knowing it. I go outside, the ground's wet. I know it fucking rained. You know, you have to use common sense. If this happened, then, you know, these things had to happen prior to that. The defense was getting ready to go at Shane Evans. Interesting you say that. The defense is going after anybody they can. And that's good. That's good for them. Okay, got a super sticker from Frank Meister. I appreciate it. Now, I think it's kind of comical that you put the hippo character up. So, do the initials FO mean anything to you? I see what you did there. And True Crime with Marv. Also, a $5 super sticker. A pear character lying on the side, raising his arms while saying, "How's it going?" See, that's nice, Frank. See how nice people do things? Not try and say that I'm a hippo. I'm a good 5 pounds away from being a hippo. Don't rush it. I'll get there eventually. There are 4 types of false confessions. He's considered voluntary, which studies show comes from psychopathy after being in solitary confinement. Hello, AJ. It's the first time I've seen you comment. I actually worked in confinement. I worked in death row. And I'm here to tell you that's all a bunch of bullshit. Of course they're going to say that. That's what they all do. I posted a BG facial photos on my community feeds recently. Go have a look. I will. I certainly will. Four Pits knows a lot of these players personally, and he knows law enforcement personally. We won't get into how he knows them personally, but he knows them personally. Hello, Angela. Defense is like a big loud elephant, and McClellan is sitting back like a quiet lion getting ready to pounce. Yeah, well, that's what he should do. That's what all prosecutors do. You don't see him jumping up and arguing with the defense in public. He's not going to do that. Why does Rozzi's filing indicate that Woodhouse never leaked anything except for index files that are inconsequential? Woodhouse had more than index files. He absolutely did. And I confirmed that the index that somebody received wasn't just black and white. Some of those index lines were blue. They were hyperlinks that had thousands of pages of information connected to them and pictures and all that stuff. So it wasn't just the index. It was not just the index. And, you know, you talk about a consequence, right? Oh, well, they sent it to Woodhouse by accident. You know, sent it to the wrong person. My bad, total mistake. Right then and there, that should have got them kicked off the case. Because that tells me, you know, that they're dumb. So, you know, that's ridiculous. But then, come to find out, oh, no shit, Woodhouse is an Odinist. Give me a break. Do I look like I fell off the last turnip truck, guys? They're hoping the jury's full of a bunch of dummies. Super sticker from Rescue All the Dogs. Lemon character. See, Frank, are you learning? Are you catching all this? See how people do nice things? But thank you very much, Rescue All the Dogs. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Stargirl. Does the verbal agreement stand even if he now has filed a motion? He can change his mind. He certainly can change his mind. Now, the judge typed up that filing and told the clerk to hold it until they file their paperwork. But she can remove him from that case still. It's up to her. As long as she's not violating Allen's Sixth Amendment rights. She can assign other attorneys. She could have. She's already reached out to the public defender's office already. There's no doubt. There's plenty of attorneys that are capable of taking this case in that area. I guess it sounds like they are putting Evans in the same category as Holder and others, throwing shit at the wall, in my opinion. Well, we all know Woodhouse doesn't like him. You know, they share a baby mama, if I remember correctly. Jinx, $2 super chat. Smash that like button, y'all. Yeah, please. That helps. It really helps the channel. The algorithm. That's how I found this case in the first place. The very first channel I looked at was Gray Hughes because it came up on my feed somehow. So, Humanimal, so verbose too. But I went on Gray Hughes' channel and dude, he's great. Some of those animations that he does, top notch. That guy does a great job. But he mentioned something about, when somebody gets set on fire, that usually indicates that there's a sexual assault involved with it. And I commented that that's not only the case. And he immediately berated me. He said, "You sound like an idiot, yada, 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 all this, Budward Bowen, what's up? Heard MS has more sketches. They may. I saw the 2 photos that everybody else did and 2 sketches, police sketches. Yes, please be respectful and courteous in chat. Listen, my emails goes along the bottom of this. You want to cuss me out? Email me. I don't mind. You're not going to hurt my feelings at all. Trust me. I can't be baited. I dealt with anti-law enforcement people every day for 20 years. I can stand it online. They posted, and now I'm going to try and read through this. Well, I know you're from Australia, or I know you have that accent. I'm just going to try and guess. They posted photos of his family within Serenra. And lot of raccoons is correct. So you're talking about the blot that they talk about, I guess. I tried to decipher that. Some of these chats, I don't know if you guys use voice to text. I can't use it because of my Boston accent. My phone gets confused and just shuts off because it doesn't know what I'm saying. But some of these, I get emails and stuff like that, and I'd have to take a course in Egyptian hieroglyphics to figure out what the hell they're trying to say. And Coach Kev says, yes, I went down that Bob Dylan rabbit hole. There's a lot of rabbit holes, and that's why I'm glad I came into the case when I did, because I missed out on all of that, because I probably would have went down them too. Why does Rozzi filing indicate that Woodhouse never leaked anything except index files? All right, we already did that. Somehow I got moved back. Angela Watson, hello. Yeah, it's growing. It hasn't grown, it's growing. It's been almost a year. I really started doing this in last February. He wasn't co-counsel. He never passed the bar. He was just an employee at the law firm. I'm talking about Rossi when I say co-counsel. And if you go to Baldwin's page, anybody can go to his page right now and look up his firm's website. He does things differently. He uses the team defense. But then again, at the bottom, it lists all the attorneys, at the bottom. But he uses the team defense thing. So I'm not surprised that he brought this person in. Nobody should be, including Rossi, including the judge, including the prosecution. That's the way he operates, the way he does business. The first judge has some skeletons of his own. One of the biggest problems with this is Carroll County Police and courts prior to the girls in the floor 4. Sorry about that. Routinely were involved in some pretty shady shit. Agreed. That floor fire case stinks. It stinks. I'm not happy about the floor case either. And I'm not saying that there's not some corruption going on. But for corruption to be on the level that some people are claiming it is, there would have to be thousands of people involved with it and go along with the same story. And I'm sorry, that just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I mean, even the Bible has been changed how many times? I mean, and give me a break. The crime scene was released sometime prior to the morning of Thursday, February 16, 2017, when Alex McAdams interviewed Ron Logan at the scene. Correct. And he even pointed out that it appears that little depression in the ground there. Now, I don't know if any of you guys agree with this or not, but to me, Hey, Banter Lion. To me, that ground should have been raked to the soil, and then a good foot of the soil taken. I mean, all of that is evidence. All of that. I'm surprised that it wasn't sanitized. To be honest with you, I don't believe they moved there at night. As I fell carrying only a camera bag, carrying a body, unthinkable. Yeah, well, I almost ended up carrying you. You were coming towards me. I'm glad you caught yourself. I don't know what I would have done. And I did laugh, just so everybody knows. I told people, I was like, yeah, Steve fell, on that slope. And they're like, oh my God, did he need help? I said, I almost had to call an ambulance. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. I was concerned for myself. I was going to call an ambulance for me. No, he was not at that meeting. Okay, Dream. Um, Show me something. I've seen that he was at that meeting. So, Dream, you believe that he's involved, then Shane's involved, and yet he's on the prosecution team. I don't see it. Again, there'd have to be thousands of people involved with this case. But it'll all come out. All of this will come out. And your opinions matter. Ruckus Rocks. Snay is pushing the bullet was found days later with a metal detector. Now Turbo Time saying 15th. You are confident in the bullet found, right? Chain of evidence? Yes, there was chain of custody, and it was documented by the crime scene technicians. You don't have to believe me. I don't care if you believe me or not. It'll all come out. Prosecution is not going to release any of that. You know why? They don't have to. They don't have to release any of that. All right, let's see. Humanimal says the scene was pristine after cops left, said Ron Logan. They should have scraped all of that. Yes, they should have. I haven't seen any post processing of the scene. I haven't seen any of that. Hey, Mama, how you doing, cousin? At Jen, exactly. Regardless of whether there is shadiness occurring, there's a distinct appearance of impropriety at the county at the county level. Definitely with Flora, and that alone is bothering some. Absolutely, I agree 100%. 100%. Super stickers, 63 clocks, $5. Thank you very much, and it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Hey, Mel. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They don't owe us a damn thing. And this is the bloodlust that Judge Durner was talking about. This is, if people are saying, well, I demand to know this, and, I'm a citizen, even people from outside the country say that they demand to know what's going on. Yeah, well, let me know how that works out for you. You can wait for the trial like everybody else. The prosecution is not going to tell us shit. Ever. The prosecution has not put anything out publicly to show their hand. Now, they wanted a bond hearing. Think about that as well. The defense wanted a bond hearing because he has a zero bond. Even though it says $20 million on paper, that count carries zero bond. So what they were saying was the PC was so weak that they did not have probable cause to arrest him on that charge. And they wanted the charge changed and a bond issued so that he could bond out. Well, then they got some more discovery and they said, well, shit, they do have evidence. So we're going to switch this to he's being treated like a POW and we need to get him moved. Good lawyering, Yes, he was at a meeting. Then he went to a council meeting in another town, Frankston, at 6 p.m. from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Missed the last part of that. Left to go to Delphi at 7:30 p.m. So who do we believe here? Do you know what I mean? I've heard what Humanimal has just put out. Dream is saying that he wasn't. And Dream, you're saying that Shane was the mastermind. And that's fine. You can say what you want. My email's down the bottom. Send me something. Send me something that says that. Didn't the press go traipsing around through the crime scene on the 15th? They may have, but by then, I'm certain that they were done processing it. They didn't stop processing it until they were done. But crime scene techs found that bullet. There's photos to prove it. So We'll see. We just have to wait till the trial comes out. And I'm not knocking what Rick says. I'm not knocking what anybody says. I'm just telling you what I know. Stepha's friend, what was your quote about two people can never keep a secret? That's right. The only way two people can keep a secret is if one of them are dead. And Dream Suburb, he was also BG. Well, I'm just going to call you out on that one. You banged your head or something. Richard Allen is BG. And please come back under this name. Don't come back under an alt. Please come back when it's proven that that is Richard Allen on the bridge and it's not Shane. I'd be interested in seeing what you have to say then. ATS News. It's good to see you. How are you? Super Chat, $5. Thanks for your insight. You're welcome. Like I said, I'm an egomaniac. I love hearing myself talk. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? My voice is very soothing, and I'm an absolute delight. Cold truth, I just need to stay out of chats that piss me off. I trust Ruckus. You can trust me to... I'm going to tell you what I believe is the truth. So if you trust that, that's great. But I say go listen to everybody else. Don't get upset. Watch, learn, listen. See what's going on in the chat. You'd be amazed. And the comments. Go back and read comments after live, especially the ones that really create a stir. You know, you can go through them, and you can learn a lot. I've learned a lot through it. But again, I need to see nonverbal communication, body language. That goes miles. He's a ruckus, but I trust him anyway, Cindy. Yeah, I got the right name, don't I? I'm a ruckus, all right. I create shit wherever I go, and I don't even try to. That's the thing. This is just me. This is my personality. 2 questions. Do you think Delphi and Flora are connected? I do not. 2. Do you think the Anthony Shots profile was a tool used in the murders of Abby and Libby? I do. Otherwise, law enforcement would not have put out that public service announcement asking anybody that contacted that account to reach out to them. And that was all connected to the Delphi case. And here's another thing. While we're on that, okay, they have more evidence. I know nobody wants to believe that. They want to believe that they have nothing. You can't prove to me that they have nothing. It's impossible to prove to me that they have nothing, because if they had nothing, there's nothing to prove, right? If you can follow that. But they do have more evidence, and I know they have more evidence. But you have to consider this. In connection to the Delphi case, they searched Logan, Weber, Maxwell, Allen's, the Wabash River in 3 different locations, and the Tippecanoe River just outside of Delphi in that bridge at 18, all connected to this case. And while they're searching the Wabash River, by the way, they take Keegan Kline out of the jail and bring him to Grissom Air Force Base to interview him in connection with the Delphi case. Now, how do I know this? Because it's on the Discovery. His interview is on that Discovery. If Keegan Kline had nothing to do with the Delphi case, didn't know anything about it, they would not waste time taking a high-risk inmate for a joyride. They wouldn't do it. He can snitch from his jail cell. He doesn't need to go anywhere else. So for anybody that's saying that Keegan Kline has no knowledge and doesn't know anything, explain to me why he's on that list, why that interview with him at Grissom Air Force Base is in the Discovery. Help me out. Help me understand that. Cold Truth put, hey, Freckle Joy, did you hear my question for you the other night? Turbo, there was a no-fly order over the crime scene area. Sometime after the R6 TV helicopter footage, medics were not allowed to fly near there for some time. Yeah, and it shouldn't be, because you don't want pictures of them processing the crime scene, because anybody that's involved is going to see, and they may catch a glimpse of what they found at the crime scene. There were some items found at that crime scene as well. And let's talk about the shoes for a second. They found one on the private drive. They found one in the water. Well, now they found a third one under Abby, allegedly. So explain that to me. All of you pro-defense people, Explain that to me. Explain that whole 136-page mess that they put out. It's crazy. CJK, I'm sorry, I didn't say hello to you earlier. I went right by you. I get caught up in talking shit and get diarrhea of the mouth, you know. But now we just have to wait. We all have to wait and see. Thank you, Four Pits. I appreciate that. Likes do help. Likes do help a lot. But now this case is going to get dragged out now, unfortunately, for Richard Allen and for the families of the victims and for the victims themselves. This is all about Abby and Libby. This is about these two little girls that didn't ask to have anything to do with any of this. And we need to keep that in mind. I want to see justice for them. I want to see justice in Evansdale. There's tons of things out there. There's other cases that I'm working on that I'm going to start doing shows on them instead of Delphi. Delphi is just too crazy. I'll post things on my community channel if anything big comes up or if I think this video is worth sharing, because there's a lot of good folks out there doing a lot of good things with this case. Okay, you got a super chat from Velvet Underground. That was one of my favorite bands. Lou Reed's a freak, but... Ruckus, why can the defense pull all these crazy antics, but the prosecution gets judged for a strategy of holding things back? Isn't that allowed? Yes, they're supposed to hold things back. That's their job. They're supposed to try it in court. All that shit's supposed to be done in cross-examination, not out, for public consumption. I mean, that's just nuts. But that's the way they want to do things. Listen, the defense team tried. They did their best. Dream Suburb, you need to email me. We're too far apart on this. We're going to have to get a divorce. We have irreconcilable differences. Email me, and I'll talk to you. Or join my Discord. The link's on my channel. Cold Truth says, Freckle Joy, about federal detention centers only being available to hold illegal aliens for so long, and then they have to release them. Nigeria would not take Dibia back. Seems strange. Yeah, they're holding him where he needs to be held, guys. And like I said, I don't care. Go sign him out. Take him home. Just make sure you get him to court on time. He's being treated fine. The Delphi Murder Task Force took evidence on December 9, 2021 from a 16-year-old victim of Kagan Klein's. It's Kagan's recent court documents released. Yeah, he is involved. I mean, it's right there in the discovery. Am I saying he did it? No, but he's part of the prosecution. He's in their crosshairs. But, we'll all have to wait for the trial. Now, the things that I know that I've verified, I did them personally. I went out there and talked to people. And until you do that, really, honestly, I mean, I respect your opinion, but don't expect me to buy it. You're just going by what you've seen online and personalities and stuff. Some people just don't like me, Jinx13, a certain creator thinks he lost subs because of other YouTubers, but in reality, he pissed off a ton of people overnight in one show. Yeah, it happens. But they all have the, we can all do what we want. See right here? He can do what he wants. Usually I do. See, I'm sitting here by myself like I'm a badass, right? If my wife was here, I would do what the voices in her head tell her to tell me to do. I wouldn't do what I want. Both Kleins are listed in Richard Allen's discovery. Yes, they're very, it's interesting. Criminality. Hello, how are you? Great show the other night. I'm a new subscriber to you. I found you through ATS News, and I'm glad I did. You're awesome. I like your style. You're a lot more level-headed than I am. I'm pig-headed, opinionated, abrasive, and on the other hand, you're very nice. But when I jumped on there the other night, I was standing there waiting for Mark Robert to get back from the park, and I told you that on your chat that I was meeting with Mark and you didn't believe me. And I was meeting with him. I wouldn't have a reason to say that if I was not indeed doing that. And I'm going to go see him in a couple weeks. That's why I'm cautious about what I say. I applaud him for cooperating. Now, he could have been afraid that he was going to jail. I asked him that too. But he reached out to Murder Sheets, and they told him they would help him, and they did help him. So no matter what you think of Murder Sheets, they're doing what all the rest of us are doing. They're building a channel. They're not doing this to wear out their computers, and as soon as they break, they'll be done with it. No, they're doing it for a reason. Sorry, it's about another case. Ignore me, Ruckus, but you may know the answer as well. Yeah, hit me up, Mel. You shoot me a text. That's okay. I can't ignore you, Mel. You kidding me? You're one of my faves. Our time on LA's channel when we first started doing LA's was a hoot, Mel. If anybody hasn't gone to watch those, you need to go watch them. But yes, Criminality, if you guys do not know who she is, you need to go sub to her channel. She has a very large following, and after watching her for the past week or so, I can see why. She's excellent. She's a good person, and it's very evident that she's a good person. Richard Allen is innocent. He has not been deemed guilty yet. Correct. Absolutely correct. We all have that right, Julie. We're innocent until proven guilty. We have the Constitution on our side. Due process. Very important in this country. 136 pages only came from the investigation. You're wrong. You're wrong. People are saying all they're doing, everything the defense is doing that they're putting out came directly from the discovery, came from the prosecution. I'm here to tell you the prosecution did not send them that one of the girl's arms was put in this shirt in this order, and then the other one, and then the pants and all that. They fabricated all that. There's no other explanation for it. They fabricated it unless they were there or somebody else was there and told them all that information. If you can't see that, I can't help you. It depends on their immigration status and what country they are coming from. Yeah, we're talking about illegal aliens. I'm here to tell you, I've seen illegal Mexicans get picked up by ICE on Friday and brought back to Mexico, and they were right back in my county in Florida by Tuesday. So none of that shit works. Anybody that thinks that shit works, you're wrong. Once he sat and graphically described sticks and branches violating Abby and Libby. Sick. I heard that too. That they were assaulted like that, but we don't know. That'll all come out in trial. Hopefully they won't need to get that graphic. They have something. I'm here to tell you, and mark my words, they have something, and it's in the list of items that they took from Richard Allen's home. They have a piece of evidence that the defense cannot explain away that puts Richard Allen at that scene. Turbo's always correct. Trendy Views. Turbo'sTheBomb.com. I'm here to tell you, though, if you want some information and you ask her, say, can you check this out for me? You are going to get like 2,000 pages of information. She doesn't leave any stone uncovered. She's awesome. She's one of the best investigative people I've met thus far. Evansdale, Iowa, connected to Delphi, Indiana. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's my opinion. But like Delphi, if you didn't know where that bridge was or that property, you would miss it. You would miss it. That was somebody locally who had knowledge of that area. The same with Evansdale. Drew Collins grew up there, and he didn't know where Seven Bridges was. Ooh, throw down the gauntlet. Cold truth. I love it. I love Mel. Mel doesn't pull any punches either. This makes every parent keep an eye on what their children are doing on the internet. I'm telling you, don't be your kids' friends. Be their parents. I'm glad when my kids grew up, this wasn't really prevalent. But now I have a granddaughter who's getting ready to turn 13. And so you can guarantee that her and I have already had this conversation. And when she's here, I'll check her phone. You can believe that. The shoe tree was nearby. No, the shoe tree was off of the on the other side of the creek, off of the private drive. So I don't think the shoes found had anything to do with the shoe tree. They had everything to do with what Libby had on her feet. Humanimal, I guarantee it. New Defense aren't running with Odinist done it. You are correct. I think we've heard the last of the Odinist stuff. Rosie even whines about that, worried that exposure, whilst he is declaring Hostnown genius like a try-hard Oscar Wilde. I don't follow that. Maybe that's a Australian thing, but I get the gist. Did you see antlers around Abby's head? Nope. You know why I didn't see them? Because they are not there. Not even twigs. There's tiny, tiny twigs on the ground. That's to be expected in a rural area like that. But nothing that you could even misconstrue as antlers. Miss Haunted Parlor, Stevenson case. No, not connected. I've talked to Coy Cox several times. They are not connected. He was here for a different reason. But I don't blame him. He's trying to bring light to his case. You know, that's a terrible case, that Stevenson case. But there's movement there as well. There's some stuff going on there. So Gray Hughes thinks that everyone who doesn't agree with him is an idiot. But it just makes him look like an idiot when it's someone that has law enforcement experience. Gray can do what he wants. It's his channel. You know what I mean? He has a very large following. And he disagrees with some things that I say, and that's fine. You're already divorced? Okay. I'm not going to comment on that. Alan has not been served well by the three-ring circus, and Gull is trying to clean it up. I don't know what she could do, Humanimal, other than what she's done. She's pissed. I don't blame her. We're all pissed. We're all pissed. People that jumped on the bandwagon with the defense saying, yeah, it's Odinist. This was a sacrificial thing. No. Wake up. She's dirty. Hello, Molly, by the way. They just seem to be upping. Oh, I missed it again. Damn it. I got to change that. Thank you, though, for hearing me. If I miss something, Molly, type it again. I apologize. I'm trying to keep up with chat, and I'm trying to go back to my old format of where I actually talk to chat and instead of just running my mouth. And I learned that actually from Sleuth. Sleuth does a great job of addressing people that are watching. So does Coach Kev. And they can both attest, and so can Frank, so can Marv. It's easy to get sidetracked when you get a good question, because you guys ask these questions 10, 15 minutes before I even see them, you know. And that's fine, Dream. You think KK is involved and RA isn't. I agree, KK is involved to some extent, otherwise they wouldn't have him in the discovery. But Richard Allen is guilty as hell. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Ruckus, is that your real name? No, it's not. I've been called that for a long time, though, for good reason. I'm sure for obvious reasons. Yes, they are great shows, Shane. And again, you and I have the same taste in creators. Kimosabi at Humanimal. It was Frankfurt. Kimosabi, Frank Meister had nothing but good things to say about you. He said it was a pleasure meeting you. I've never heard of a county not taking someone back, so it's probably above the levels of detainment I deal with. Well, from what I understand, you're in the EMT field, so it's a little bit different. No matter how you look at it, RA is majorly screwed. He better find God and learn to exercise. I get exactly what you're saying. Walk around the day room. I wonder if he'll ever be in general population. But I'm here to tell you that the prison that I worked at, Union Correctional Institute, when I worked death row, I worked out on the compound as well, and it's crawling with them. It's crawling with child predators, all that. People think that they get dealt with in prison. No. If they give up enough of their commissary, they get left alone. They don't care. They have their own little society in there. I don't care if he's guilty or innocent. He should not be in prison. All right, Julie, where should he be? Please answer me that. Where should he be? He is a pre-trial detainee. Cinder blocks are cinder blocks, my dear. What do you think they're going to put him in, a hospital or a mental institution? No. He can't plead insanity. And how about this? The defense filed a motion saying he's being treated badly. He's not even getting the paperwork that we're sending him. We're sending him paperwork, and he's not even allowed to have it. Well, not only was he allowed to have it, he was fucking eating it. Give me a break. Shut up already. Find something good to bring to your client's defense, not some bullshit. And, Baldwin and Rossi didn't even go visit him. They sent this kid Max. He's still shitting green. He's a kid, and they're sending Max there. In my opinion, Coy Cox cleverly brought new eyes to his cold case. He's sharp. He's a sharp tack. No, not connected at all. Very interesting case. Perhaps someone, the renegade pastor, upset. I know a little bit about that case, but I'm not at liberty to talk about that. Well, I know you guys hate hearing that. Well, why mention it? Because I'm an egomaniac. That's why. I want you to know that I know. And haha, I'm not telling you. But some things you just can't talk about. And anybody that's current or prior law enforcement understands what I'm saying there. I just try and bring perspective to some of this stuff. Ruckus, I'm pretty sure we are more alike than you think, laughing out loud. Well, that is a huge compliment because you are awesome. Criminality. You are awesome. You're a great guy, Ruckus, straightforward and likable. I'm going to frame that and show it to my wife. Turbo, you are correct. All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because I'm getting behind. And I don't want to leave anything out. Let's see what Frank has to say here. I have both minute sheets for Frankfurt and Delphi concerning Shane Evans. And let me see. Ruckus, love to hear your perspective on all this. I appreciate it. And I love to hear everybody's perspective. Like I said, I can't be baited. I don't get mad. I do shake my head. No, it's just make to look like it was ritualistic. That way no one would ever suspect the major. They were paid to do a job. Ask Elvis. You have no proof of that, Dream. And you have a good name because you are dreaming. And when it all comes out in trial, please come back. And I won't ridicule you. I just want to do the smug. I'll do like a 3-minute smug look like this. I'll just do one of those. Because everybody knows I'm quiet, reserved, unopinionated. I don't call anybody out on their bullshit. I'm a nice guy. Curtis West, how are you? At Ruckus. Pedos all over the system. Absolutely. Filled with them. But prison, there's inmates. Those are in the county. Then there's convicts. Those are guys that are in prison. And convicts have their own little social structure, and it's fucked up. The only thing they can't do in a prison that they can do when they're out on the streets is rob a bank, and that's only because there's no banks in there. They just swap out money for soups. They still do all the same stupid shit. I've seen a few dead bodies in prison. Every one of them was over a love triangle between 3 men. So that's the sick thing about this case. The defense may not even blame Logan. That's the truth. And that's criminal. Yeah, and Ron Logan is low-hanging fruit. I mean, that guy tried to generate an alibi for a time when the crime was committed before anybody knew there was a crime committed. He's not off the table for me. And they have more on him. And getting back to what I was saying earlier, I got sidetracked off of that. That 43 seconds of video and audio that they have. There's more. There's more photos pre-bridge, before the bridge. There's more photos. And there's more videos. that will have an impact on this case. And if you don't believe me now, that's fine. You will when the trial starts. Yeah, Elvis, that whole thing, don't get me started. Don't get me started with people talking like that and saying, well, if I spit on somebody, just like Cake and Klein, right? Looking up how long does DNA last on the bodies. If I was Alan, I would rather be in prison than county jail. Sorry, Gladys. I don't know why people get so uptight about that. I don't either. They're cinder blocks. No matter where he goes, it's going to be cinder blocks, 8x6. You know, people saying, well, they're spitting in his food and they're tormenting. And I'm here to tell you, they are tormenting him up on that wing. They're telling him to kill himself. They're telling him he's a piece of shit. They have their own little society. You know, it's okay to kill a person, but if you do anything to a kid, they're all against that, which they should be. But they have their own rules, their own little society. They have to keep him safe, so he makes it to trial. Safest place is in the prison. And maybe, just maybe, they don't have a cell that's monitored, both audio and video, 24/7 at the county jail. I don't know many that do. Some people are very good at acting crazy. Me, for prime example. I can vouch for that. I've seen you and B-Rad communicating. Miss Haunted Parlor, Frank Meister, Equals, Docu King, always on top of the documents. Absolutely. I know when documents come out, the second they come out, he may not send them to me right away, but he lets me know that he has them. But jail, prison, dream suburb, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. I've worked in both. I've worked all facets of law enforcement you can imagine. He is still shitting green. But that tells you, you know, how much they care about their client. They're too busy to drive out there and talk to him. They send this kid. Ishigazer, how are you? RA is out of his mind if he thinks to get transported to a local jail, he is much safer. And that's just my opinion. Yeah. Because the guards live in that area. The inmates, pretrial detainees and the such that are in the jails live in that area, and they're opinionated. Alan called the tip line and then met Doolin at Kroger for coffee. That's what he did. Now, I don't know if he met with Doolin or Skinner, but that's exactly what happened. He called the tip line before the picture came out. Well, I don't think he called the tip line. I think he called directly. He knew Doolin and Skinner personally, so I think he directly called them. But also his phone, right? We've seen the information on his phone. Let me read this real quick. If what these two cultists believe is true, wouldn't Alan be in danger in a Main Street, Delphi? Gee, anyone could walk in and whack him. You think? I agree. Everything's on audio and video there. It'll all come out at trial. He's not being harassed. He's not being mistreated. He's getting better treatment than American veterans are getting. He's definitely getting better psychiatric and health care, that's for sure. Now, Jackie, zero evidence. This is what I was talking about before. That's a great statement. You know why, Jackie? Because you don't have to prove it. You're saying there is none. Well, there is. There is evidence against him that puts him at the crime scene. If there were not, Jackie, if there was not evidence that concerned the defense counsel, why would they put in for this Franks hearing? Why would they bother doing that? If he was innocent, why didn't they go to trial in 90 days? Why would they say, well, we haven't received all of the discovery yet? You know, we need the discovery so that we can represent him to our best ability. Well, if he's innocent and he didn't do it, who gives a fuck how much evidence they have, right? Go to trial. And if you are innocent, file an appeal. Kate List. He would be housed exactly the same way regardless, Julie. Most of the jails do have adequate staff to protect him. What is such a big deal? Yeah, he doesn't come out. He has no interaction with other inmates. If he's out of his cell, he's black boxed, shackled, cuffed, and there are no other inmates around. And Lisette, I was trying to figure that out as well, as long as what happened with the bail hearing for Alan. You would think that would be the defense's main priority, but instead they went with this, right? And that's what I was talking about. They switched it. You know why? Because they got the evidence, and they're like, oh, fuck, there is plenty of PC. No one have Shane's minutes. Sorry. Okay. Well, where do you think Shane was? Do you think he was at the crime scene? Shadowbox, how are you? I'm losing patience with the conspiracy people, truly. Don't. Don't lose patience. Yeah, can't wait. None of us can wait, Dream. I agree with you there. I can't wait for this all to come out. Good point, Ruckus. And Alan staged nothing and did nothing. Okay, that's fine. How do you explain away the evidence that they have? I mean, let's just talk about the bullet just for 1 second, okay? That bullet was definitely cycled through his Sig Sauer. That was cycled through his Sig Sauer. Okay, so he was there. And it wasn't buried. It wasn't found with a metal detector weeks later. A news crew didn't find it. A hiker didn't find it. CSI found it, photoed it, documented it, and created a chain of custody. That'll all come out. And I don't care who's right or wrong. What I care about is justice in this. He deserves a fair trial. There's no official indication that Delphi girls were SA'd. If nothing like that happened, If nothing like that happened, it's an elaborate crime for reasons unknown. Or the girls resisted and the perps got spooked. Yeah, we'll find all that out as well. No, we haven't seen. We saw the death certificates, if they're even legit. We haven't seen the coroner's report, so we don't know. Now, according to Erskine's in his leaked text, that they were, but I mean, he's just making an observation. Other crap, motion after motion. But if he's innocent, they should have focused on the bail hearing. Correct. But they jumped right off of that, didn't they? There's plenty of PC to arrest Allen and hold him. Ruckus, I could see you as a guy in a movie who smooths things over between two rival gangs with jokes. Actually, on most of my evaluations, they every job I've ever had that they said he uses a sense of humor to quell things. When I worked in booking, I would have to ask. We didn't have nursing staff doing the medical questionnaires. We did it. The deputies did. But I would have to ask questions like, have you ever been exposed to, or do you have a contagious or communicable disease such as AIDS, hepatitis, or VD? That would be it. But I would always add on, if they said no, I would say, okay, shin splint, scurvy, heel lip, fungal lupilitis. And they're like, fungal lupilitis? What the fuck is that? Oh, if you don't have it now, you'll have it when you leave. The Delphi Council meeting wasn't held February 13th. Frankfurt's, whatever it was, that night. And as mayor of neighboring town, he went. The daytime activities are different again. I don't think Shane's involved at all, so I haven't looked into that. I highly doubt, again, there would have to be thousands of people involved to take someone who is a suspect in a murder case and assign him to the prosecution counsel. Anybody that feels offended by Ruckus needs to sit on Gray Hughes' call. I don't mean to offend anybody. I just call it like I see it. Most of it is lighthearted, whether it comes off that way or not. Westville is a special kind of hell on earth. Fact. Have you been there, Yaya? And I'm not knocking you. It may be. I worked at several prisons before I went to be a deputy, and some were worse than others. The staff was just different. The way they approached things was differently. But where he's being held at, yes, the other inmates are definitely giving him a hard time. Definitely. His car is tracked, laptop, car, all county paid, some with emails, etc. That's a good point. Very good point. Haha, not slamming GH, but he doesn't hold back. Yeah, and that's good. I like that about him. And like I said, he's a very talented man, and he has a very large following. So it's hard to get by that. There's over, I don't know how many subs he has, but that many people like what he's doing. So if he doesn't like people disagreeing with him, that's just his personality. Ruckus Rocks, are they more worried LA is going to off himself, or the possibilities other involved will get to him? That's Michelle. That's every case. Every defendant that's being held in custody is a risk. Something happens to him while he's under your care. That's your ass, because you're saying that you're going to provide care, custody, and control for that person. It's unbelievable the personalities that seek out Ruckus in pubs, bars. Glad I'm the driver. All right, you guys seen that, right? He's the driver. I'm the brains of the operation. I'm the brains. And please, Steve and I are good friends. We collaborate. We do things together, but we are not a single unit. We are two different people. We have two different opinions, ideas, ways of dealing with shit, and we have two different channels. Steve's channel is fantastic. He doesn't play any bullshit. He just does his own thing, and he does some fantastic lab work. He lets you see it. I mean, he was dragging his wife around the other day. She's a saint. She's going straight to heaven. Meanwhile, he's going to pass that guy that shot the Pope for lying. He lies on me all the time. I can't do gray. I'm not able to handle that much. Yeah, I don't, I'm not really into, bashing other creators. We're all doing the same thing. That, he doesn't like me, obviously. And you know how much sleep I'm losing? Zero. I'm doing all my sleeping in the van with Steve, granted, but I'm not losing any sleep over him not liking me. At least Ruckus admits that, but he doesn't acknowledge that that would be the defense helping the state convict an innocent man, not bring up Logan. That was left out of the 136 pages. Yeah, Jackie, if he's innocent, I do not want him to be convicted. But because I am pro-law enforcement and I'm pro-prosecution and I see that they're doing a good job, and now that I know that everything was documented and there's chain of custody and all this evidence, I think he's guilty. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. He certainly didn't act like an innocent man. He didn't have to waive his right to a speedy trial. If he was innocent, he would have said, I don't give a damn what evidence you have. I didn't do it. And that phone, getting back to that, see, I got sidetracked again. That phone that Doolin or Skinner or whoever took that information said the phone did not have an IMEI number, right? You know why? Because that phone was purchased at the dollar store in town. That was a burner phone. Why would he have a burner phone, kids? And that's been proven. They did a cell tower dump, which is very labor intensive. They get every single phone that's in that area that pings off of that tower. And they weed out the people that live there, that have a reason for being in that area, and that narrows it down to people that they don't see a reason for them to be in that area, and then they can watch those numbers. They research them, they send people out to talk to them, maybe they're just driving through, who knows, it's a free country, you can go where you want. But it gets narrowed down to a few numbers that they don't know, and that's where the investigation begins. There's so many more lines of inquiry in that discovery. Most will have never heard the other people they say interviewed. They went with the ordinance because they saw the two guards. Yeah. They did a good job. They're doing good lawyering. They're posturing. They did everything they could for him. Unfortunately, they got caught. I would want attorneys like that if I was in that same spot, if I was innocent or guilty. But I've been around long enough and I've seen enough where if I'm guilty of something, I'm just going to say, yeah, I did it. If they had that hearing the other day, I wish they had. All these pro-defense people would maybe have a different opinion. Norse pagans are guarding him. I don't know what to tell you about that. Yeah. They shouldn't have anything on their uniform. Nothing. You can't put a cross on your uniform if you're Catholic. Nothing. Human sacrifice are too over the top. Few, if any, would believe that. Yeah, show me one instance where Odin, people that practice Odinism, have done a human sacrifice within the past, 100 years or so. I don't know if they did it back in the day. I really didn't study it. To me, it was ridiculous. I didn't even follow up on it. Some of the stuff was so far-fetched that it doesn't warrant my attention in my eyes, because I am way more important than that. Nuttier than squirrel turds is what my grandpa used to say. Yeah, grandpas, they give good one-liners, and they also give good advice. My grandfather told me, never argue with an idiot, because they'll bring you down to their level, and then they'll beat you with experience. Yeah, and that whole confession thing, that was recorded. He did it. He confessed. That's all. That's all there is to that. He did it. Jacking, nothing points to Alan being innocent. You want him to be for whatever reason. And that's okay. CJ, Jackie can say that. Who is Solanus? I don't want to talk about Solanus. You can text me. I'll tell you about that, Mel. I trust you. If what these two cultists believe is true, wouldn't Alan be in danger? Okay. Got these doubled up somehow. I already read that one. Hi, Jennifer. I have a cheap phone from Target. I have it because it's cheap. Yep. He also had a regular phone that he left at home because they looked. And his phone that he usually carries was at home. But yet he admits, not only did he admit that he was there, that he was on the phone watching the stock ticker. Exit, what's going on? Both men who had their homes searched had fish stories. Yeah. I mean, it'll all come out, trust me. They're doing their due diligence. They certainly are. And so did the defense team. I wouldn't expect anything less if you had nothing. There's a chance there's more than him involved, though. Yes, I believe so. There's going to be more arrests in this, if nothing else, for conspiracy. Are these people who really liked Chris Hemsworth in the movie Thor? I just don't understand that religion part of this. Yeah, I don't either, and I don't even want to. I just like to stick to the facts. Now, some people will say, well, you're not spewing facts because you don't know. Listen, everything that I say out of my mouth, I believe is true. And not just because I heard it somewhere, because I researched it, I talked to people. I drive to go meet with people. I've never heard prosecutors say they had recording of confession. They always say transcript. Weird. No, it's recorded. Everything at the jail and the prison is recorded. And then they transcribed it from there. The defense has tried to dazzle everyone with exotic Odinist sagas to distract them from the bullet gun RA link, which is solid. Agreed, Michelle, it is solid, but they have something else that they cannot explain away. Hi, Alice James. How are you? And you guys will see, this piece of evidence can't be explained away. He was there. He was there. They're screwed with that one. That's why they want all the fruits of that search warrant execution suppressed. And that is smart on the defense's part. That's what they should do. They've got evidence that put him there. People say there's no DNA. There's bullshit. There is DNA. Yes, Dream Suburb. I believe that that's when the crime occurred, during that time frame. Going out to the crime scene, seeing that area was eye-opening. Being out there at night was very eye-opening. If I shut my light off, I couldn't see shit. And Steve dragged his wife around, who was willing to do it, stayed limp, and he can tell you how difficult it is. Now, as it turns out, it appears that they only dragged a short distance, so I can believe that. But they were not carried there from anywhere outside of that area. Not up and down that hill, not across that creek, none of that. And Abby's pants were wet. Her whole left leg was muddy, right knee was muddy. Her sneakers were pristine. You can see the waterline mark. So whoever's pants they were, the defense said that they put, whoever it was, put Libby's jeans on Abby. Well, from what I understand, Libby was wearing sweatpants, not jeans. So, but that doesn't matter. Whoever's pants those were wet at some point. So that means that the person that was wearing those pants crossed that creek and got muddy climbing up that bank. My brother worked at a prison, the medical side of it, and the first thing they told him was, don't get close to these people because all they do is sit all day long, figure out ways to con you. Absolutely. And as a correctional officer, you can't let them beat you for your cool, because it's not just them. They see somebody piss you off, now they know that button to push, and they will push it constantly. I need to know, Ruck, do you still listen and comment on Gray H YouTube? No, I watch him. I lurk because he's very talented. Very talented. But I don't listen. I put it on silent, but I watch what he does. He's very talented. I have multiple cell phones. I carry them all. Each has a specific purpose. I don't leave any at home unless for a purpose. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to snitch him out. Steve has multiple cell phones because he doesn't know how to operate them. Each one has one app on it. He doesn't know how to have one phone with multiple apps. So each phone has one app on it. So he uses one for Google, uses one for YouTube, stuff like that. And I'm joking, of course. Ruckus on point with the one piece of evidence. Yes. And there's more. There's more than one. Yeah, Sons of Odin is a known gang in the Kokomo area. Yeah, this is not gang related. We would know that already. If you understood how law enforcement works and how the system works, you just know. You know how to read between the lines. You know what they're saying. You know what they're not saying. That's what I want to see or know. What is the thing that can't be explained away so easily? I know what it is. I'm not ready to disclose it, but I will tell you this. It is on the list of items that was taken from Richard Allen's property. Now, how does it tie to the case? You're going to have to do what I did. Do some research, do some investigating, talk to people face to face. I don't befriend people to use them. If I don't like a person, I don't care what they say. I'm not going to try and meet with them. I'm not going to try and talk to them. I think the girls are part of a snuff film. Klein is going to Vegas afterwards and checking on the murders from Vegas, so suspect. That may well be. That may well be. I haven't heard anything about that, but that is more type of evidence that nobody will release at all. Wow, this thing's still going. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Charles. I'm finishing up. This is the last part of the series on this. So I wanted to get to everybody's questions. I know everybody has questions, and I know they're going to go ask other people the same questions. So, they should get as many opinions as they can get. It's pretty interesting, Shadowbox, this piece of evidence I'm talking about. Do you think the new defense team will recommend a plea deal? Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Get a plea deal, file an appeal. Let this shit wash over. Ruckus, is it photographs of the scenes from Allen's device? No. Now, one of the crime scene photographs, both of those photographs were taken at different times by different implements. You can tell the same camera and the same operator was not being used. And what the implications are, if that is 13 October, like I said in my last live, that's the same day as the search warrant on the Allen residence. So you can take that for what you want. But some people say it doesn't say that, it says something else. So that's what I see. But that's some serious implications. That would imply that Allen took that picture. Scientifically impossible for them to have been killed at any time later than 3:30 p.m. We need to get the coroner's report, Freckled. Honestly, I want more information as much as you guys do. Trust me. Hi, Kelt. How are you? And if you guys look in the discovery, right, just take a second to go look at it with an open mind. There's at least 2 CIs involved. Okay? If I say, hey, I saw this guy do this, or I heard him say this, I'm a witness. If law enforcement says, hey, are you willing to wear a wire or a camera and get him to say it again? Well, now I'm a CI. Now I'm working for law enforcement. I'm a confidential informant. I am no longer a witness. They're going to use whatever evidence I give them as evidence, not me personally. So that carries a little bit more weight than an eyewitness, because they actually have them. And you guys have all seen it on Forensic Files and all that. It's mostly these women trying to hire hitmen to kill their husbands. That's why I don't like my wife watching that shit. She's taking notes. But not only is there 2 CIs, there's 2 unidentified males. 2 unidentified. Now, since that has come out, that discovery, they may have identified these people. But how is there 2 unidentified males? That tells me they have photos. and they're not able to identify them. And they may be included in those pre-bridge photos from the days prior to right up until Libby took the picture of that bridge. There's other photos and other videos. Did the perp leave wearing Libby's sweatpants? No idea. And put his jeans on Abby? No idea. I don't know that. Good question. What is my current working theory? I don't have a working theory. Every new piece of evidence that I come across, that I vet, that I believe, I go all the way back to square one and look at things over again. But Richard Allen's definitely involved with this. The prosecution took the time to charge him with murder, with the aggravating factor of 2, made it harder on themselves, so they definitely think he's guilty. Mrs. Steve does need a raise. She runs that whole show. Steve's only there for aesthetic value. He's like a puppet. But Steve's brilliant. For you guys that don't know, I've got to spend hours upon hours talking with Steve. And when we're not zinging each other, we're talking some good stuff. So let me see if I missed any super chats or anything. Okay. And I'm sorry that it took so long to get to these guys. Charlotte, super chat. A token of thanks towards you and Mr. Steve for the road. Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Phil Bond, super chat. From Phil, $4.99. Thank you very much. Growing Crazy, super chat, $20. Thanks for your directness and guiding us all through this. Your opinion means a lot to Nana72 and I. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. You've been very loyal. 63 Clocks, super sticker, $5. Thank you. And just in case I miss. Oh, look who's here. Look who's here. Look who's in here. L.A. Wilkes, Thin Black Line, $4.99. Stop using me, sir. Or what? What, are you going to talk me to death? I already met you. You going to jump up and hit me in the nuts? You don't scare me. Pay me my money. That's what you need to do. Pay me my money. All right. This has been almost 2 hours. This is unheard of for me. So a couple more questions, and then I'm off like a prom dress. Out like a fat kid in dodgeball. When will we be able to spell it out for us dummies, Ruckus? The piece of evidence, 2 identified men. I'm going even crazier than I already am. Yeah, Michelle, and I apologize. I'm not trying to plant seeds. And again, I'm an egotistical maniac. I think I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and you can't prove me wrong. Steve can. L.A. can. They know me. They know I'm an idiot. But when the trial starts, or if he pleads out, I'll drop it. I'll drop everything that I know, and it'd be interesting to see how good my investigative skills are. Super chat, $4.99 from Gladys Kravitz. Thanks again, Ruckus. No, thank you for being here. True Crime Web responding to Shane. I move more than a fair share of bodies. It's not easy, even when you have help. Darkness does not make it easier. I can attest to that, Steve. That was difficult at best, traversing that whole area. I wouldn't even call it traversing, man. We're both admittedly old and out of shape. What gets me is they didn't use lights. They didn't use lights on drones or helicopter to find them at night instead of giving up and waiting until another day. Agreed. Keep eye peels. Agreed. I cannot believe they did not find the girls. I now 100% believe myself. I believe that they were there that whole time. They weren't brought in. Nobody came in later and staged them. It's not feasible. Is it possible? If you got enough adrenaline running, yeah. There's been countless POIs discussed in comparison to BG. No one ever looked like BG until Allen. His mustache and goatee match what I've always seen. His gait, etc., all looks like Allen to me. We are going to soon find out. I believe that Richard Allen is BG. Other people do not, and they're firm on that. Doug did say no one is cleared. All theories are welcome. Yep. Now he is a professional. Doug Carter is doing his job. He's using the media as a tool. He's being coy. You have to read between the lines. I'm not smarter than anybody else, but I've done it long enough where it just comes second nature. The knife. Oh, the knife. You think they found the knife? They may well have. They found other evidence at the crime scene that is not listed anywhere. They didn't find it at Alan's house because they found it at the crime scene. So we won't know about that until we go to trial. Nick's doing his job. I expected L.A. Wilkes to be taller. That's what Necessary Evil said. Well, no, he said that he wasn't tall, and he's proportionate. He's creamy. The women love L.A. He's creamy. He's a good-looking dude. A small town just pulls out these resources from Magic Hat at short notice for 14 possible runaways. Truants, nope. They weren't 8. They could just been playing hooky. Yes. And that's usually the case. They go stay at somebody else's house. Fair enough, Michelle. I'll always respect everybody's opinion. I joke. Like I called Dream a dreamer and stuff like that. I don't mean anything by it. Thank you, Ruckus. Great show. Good points and more. The funny remarks. It's what I do. It's in my blood. If you guys met my father, you would understand exactly where I'm coming from. Witness confirmed BG had a facial disguise. Fact. I believe that as well. He had a face covering on. I certainly do believe that. The FBI had Ron Logan as their prime suspect and claimed that he resembled and sounded like BG. That can be confirmed by anyone online. I agree 100%, Jackie. When I first looked at this case, I said, how are they missing this? But then, you got to kind of hold judgment until you get some more information. I'll give you 20 real nickels to spill the beans. No, but the information's out there. You guys can all do the same thing that I'm doing. I'm nobody special. Everyone, can y'all please sub to our new channel? Ruckus will be dropping the true crime content on there, so don't miss out. No, we don't do true crime on this channel here. This is the new channel that me, LA, and Diesel are on. We watch body cam, court proceedings, stuff like that, but all stuff to where it's almost impossible to believe it actually happened. And if you guys have never seen LA, go check out his channel, LA Wilkes Thin Blue Line, and look at his shorts. He's hilarious, man. He yells at that screen. He gets into it. I love LA. I joke with him. We tease, but he's a good guy. I'm a better person for knowing LA. Steve, well, jury's still out. Why would we assume that anyone who dropped the bodies would have done it in the pitch black? Multiple people, flashlights. Yeah, it's hard to see out there. It's hard to see. It really is. It's not spooky or scary or anything like that. It's just it's difficult. That terrain is difficult at best. And I don't see even an ATV getting in there. Mr. Steve said that over towards Logan's, you can go in that way and it's not as steep. But that being said, even an ATV would be difficult to get up and down that train. Anybody that's been there will agree with that. Yeah, Kyra, go back and look at some of the things when Mel was with me in LA. It's hilarious. It's good stuff. Gold. Comedy gold. Best things come in small packages. You're right, Stargirl. You are absolutely right. All right, guys, I'm going to take a few more questions here. Hey, Steve, why is Thomas Frost a nitwit? I don't think he's a nitwit. Now, are you calling him a nitwit? If that's the case, call him a nitwit. Don't ask a question. And he has a channel. Go tell him that. I did a good show on the mass shooting and you misspelled Maine. So I'm going right by that. Grammarly is free. It's a free app, LA. Go check it out. It's a free app. The crime was done to frame RL initially. Quite possibly could have. FBI was hot and heavy on him. Sure, you'll be fired. Drop the true crime stuff. Or what? You don't scare nobody. Nobody nothing. So how'd they know exactly what kind of gun they was looking for if a single found bullet besides known was a 40 cal? Easy. It's a 40 caliber round. So anybody that has a 40 caliber weapon can be tested against that round for the ejection marks, the magazine, the striations on it. Even though they're microscopic, they can match them up. They'll eject round after round after round out of several weapons, and they'll be able to tell you which ones came out of that weapon. Now, there's no breech mark and there's no firing pin mark because it was not fired. So those are on the back of the casing. Now, the hook where it gets fed into the chamber, into the breech, there'll be a mark for that, and there'll be the ejection striations from the ejector. The ejector doesn't move. The slide moves back to hit the ejector, so that's why it leaves that mark. But it's not junk science. Go look up Turner versus the state of Indiana. I think it was 2012. Not only did this guy go to prison for the rest of his life, on that science alone, they still have not found the weapon. But they were able to prove that casings found at the crime scene matched ejected rounds that were at his property. Oh, and for those of you guys don't know, I do have merch. Kim does it. And look, see this? I think of everything. See this? You can use it with your left hand or your right. Can't do that with all coffee cups. But that's not junk science. That guy got sentenced to prison for the rest of his life, won an appeal, and then lost the appeal and went right back to prison on the same exact evidence. So his shorts are great, Kyra. I still laugh at them, and I was involved with someone. Now, he wisely cuts me out of them because I'm probably rolling my eyes, but we've had some good times. And the more I get to know LA, the more I like them. I said that Thomas Frost was a nitwit, Steve. When did I say that? I may have been joking with him over fantasy football and stuff like that. But no, he is not a nitwit. You just don't know me yet, Steve. That's my sense of humor. That's how I talk to people. So it said crime scene is a slight depression in the ground plus a thick blinding fog came up at sundown. River fog is different, thicker than regular. I didn't really see a depression. I don't know what Steve's opinion of. It is more of a flat spot as opposed to a rolling spot, at the bank. I wouldn't consider it a depression. The bank had just bunched up to make it appear that way. I don't know why the search was canceled overnight. Dream that bugs the shit out of me. It bugs the shit out of me. They called the dogs off. I'm not saying law enforcement's perfect. I'm not saying they handled this case perfectly. They did the best of their ability, and I am positive that there's no big conspiracy and that whole agency and the whole county is corrupt. Now, people who have had dealings with law enforcement in that county may say that they're corrupt. That's fine. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. I'm still friendly with all of them. We can all have difference of opinion and still discuss things. I mean, Fort Pitts got pissed off at me on Joe Lewis's channel, called me a coward, all kinds of shit. And I talked to them the next day and we laughed about it. He's passionate. I wouldn't have him any other way. Yeah, this mug is cool and ambidextrous. Like I said, look, left hand, right hand. You can't just get these anywhere, folks. Ambidextrous coffee mugs are hard to come by, but I think of all my lefty subscribers. Diane Downs case, 1984, they used unspent round, but needed more. It might have been different circumstances, Steve. All I'm saying is that is not junk science at all. Not junk science. But no, I do not think Frosty's a nitwit. Far from it. Very intelligent. He's a good kid, too. But all right, guys, that's it. I'm going to take off. It's been a couple hours. I'm surprised anybody stayed this long. For those of you, the mods, thank you so much. Jinx, as always, you're the bomb. I'm gonna cover anything that comes up that's important. So I'll put that on my community page, and if I feel that it's worthy to do a live on to give my opinion, or if it either proves me wrong or proves me right of the things that I've been talking about, I will do a show on that. But other than that, I'm stepping out. There's enough channels that are doing this case. I'm real busy working on unsolved cases. Even this one technically is unsolved, but it's a little further along than these other ones that I feel need my attention, and meeting with family members and victims' families and stuff like that, and trying to do some good. Get out there and talk to people, and like I said, get some nonverbal communication, body language, all that. Tone of voice it means the world. It'll really steer you in the right direction, and you can get intent out of somebody just the way they answer your questions and how they handle them. All right, guys, so I thank every one of you for coming out. Let me see what Steve said. Thought about getting a pet rat. Ruckus. No longer need a pet rat. Oh, I love you too, buddy. Love you too. I'm going to get a pet snake to eat that rat if you get a rat. How do you like that? But you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining me. This is part 5 of 5. I'm stepping down from this. I'm going to keep a watch on it. It's hard not to. This is like a train wreck. You can't look away, you know. But I'm going to move on to other cases. I'm going to start doing series on other cases and start bringing them to more attention. And I'll keep you guys updated on the Stevenson case as well. That's going to be a good one. And do me one huge favor. Don't take any wooden nickels. My name is Ruckus. Thanks for hanging out. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm 10-7.